Good morning. Welcome to the Salt Lake Center for Spiritual Living. Thank you for joining us today, and a special welcome to our new viewers. I hope you are blessed by what you experienced today. This is a challenging time for sure. We're so grateful to be in spiritual community, our second family. It's wonderful. I want to encourage any of you out there to get a hold of us. If you'd like to talk or need something, or even just to check in, say, I'm doing great. That would be awesome. Contact information on our website. You may, of course, call a practitioner if you'd like some support there too. Just a reminder. And we welcome beautiful summer day today. Lots of movement in the world, and we are focusing on the good. We're looking at the good that's happening, and I encourage you to do the same. As we focus our attention on the goodness, it expands. We're going to sing together our opening song. This is a wonderful song by Colby Calais called Think Good Thoughts. Think good thoughts. Sing along with us.
I'm just gonna say it. It's no use in delaying. I'm tired of the angry, hanging out inside me. So I'll quiet down the devil. I'm gonna hit him with my shovel, and I'll bury all my troubles underneath the rubble. When I'm alone in a dark, dark room, I have to tell myself to think good thoughts, think good thoughts. Imagine what the world would be if we would think good thoughts. Stop the bad from feeding. I won't let negativity become my enemy. I promise I won't let it get the best of me. That's how I want to be. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Na 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 na. Now I'm not saying that it's easy, especially when I'm moody. I might be cursing like a sailor till I remind myself I'm better. 'Cause words can be like weapons. When you use them, you'll regret them. Oh, but I'm not gonna let them take away my heaven. And when I start to feel blue, I remember to tell myself to, think good thoughts, think good thoughts. Imagine what the world would be if we would think good thoughts. Stop the bad from feeding. I won't let negativity become my enemy. I promise I won't let it get the best of me. That's how I want to be. I think of rain on a summer night, stars filling up the sky, the sun shining on my face, making a secret wish, finding my happiness. That always makes me hold my head up high. I wanna hold my head up high, so high. Think good thoughts, think good thoughts. Imagine what the world would
I can hear you all clapping out there wherever you are. Good morning to all of you who are love streaming services here at the Salt Lake Center for Spiritual Living. We are so very grateful to have you with us. My name is Linda Brewer, and we are a spiritual community where all are welcome to join us remotely right now, and we are so looking forward to the day when you can be right here in the building with us. We miss you so very much. Our practitioner holding high watch this morning is Farrell Zeman. Throughout the service, he will be in prayer, knowing that the best and highest is unfolding as we share this sacred time together. Jim Ferris will be our prayer practitioner up here this morning. Our center is a spiritual community that teaches a philosophy for daily living based on spiritual principles and practices that are universal among religions. We honor every pathway by which people seek to know and connect with the divine, and we work on our individual consciousness so that we can help make the world a better place. Wherever you are right now, I invite you to join in saying with feeling with us our purpose statement. We are an open, welcoming community, celebrating our divinity, loving our humanity, and nurturing our journeys of spiritual discovery. Thank you. I want to remind you again that for all the latest information and inspiration, please visit our website at www.spirituallyfree.org. Our theme for this month is Mindful Mavericks, and I will be our speaker this morning. My talk is something about just breathe and mindful intentions. Those were two topics combined. Next week, our speaker will be Rabbi Alan Bachman. I can't wait to hear what he has to share with us. It's been a long time since Alan has been with us. We do encourage all of you to please sign up for our weekly newsletter that comes by email, and regularly visit the announcements section of our website. We are keeping that up to date every day. So anything new that's coming out about what's happening at our center, you can find it right there on the announcements page. We also have lots of good information about what's going on in the community, and Home Office has been incredibly busy during this time of the virus with putting out all kinds of things for us to participate in, so that's all on the website, so check that out. We have learned that some of you have had your contributions that you sent by mail returned. We're so very sorry for that. It didn't happen when everyone was here, but now we have to have a suite number, so please, if you're mailing a check, include suite number 200 with the rest of the mailing address, and we have updated that on the website everywhere that the address is on the website, so you can find it there, and it will get updated in the newsletter this week. So last week, Reverend Myrna started a wonderful opportunity for our community to connect. After each Sunday service, we have a weekly Zoom group so that people can check in with each other and connect, kind of like we used to do mulling around here in the room, only now you'll all be safely at home, but talking to each other by Zoom, which I keep wondering how they got through the 1918 pandemic without all the tools that we have. But I'm so grateful that we have that, and this would be a great place to check in and let us know how you're doing, what's going on with you, connect with other people. The information is at the top of the center's Facebook page where you're watching the service right now. There's even a tutorial there that Myrna and Shemaine made that tells you how to use Zoom if you're new to that. So if you're missing the personal contact, which I know we all are, this would be a great second choice for how to connect with other people. So there's also a link on the website if you want to find it there. So in these challenging times, it's especially important to remember the blessing of prayer, and that we have professional prayer practitioners who are trained in the art of and science of affirmative prayer who are here to pray for you. You can send us a prayer request on the website or call the office and leave a message. We'll all pray for you if we get a written prayer request. And if you'd like one of the practitioners to give you a call, just say that and we'll have somebody connect with you. So please do that. A couple of people have taken advantage of that, and I hope some more of you will also do that. So we'd love to know. We're all praying for you in general, but we'd love to know a little more guidance about what would be helpful for us to know for you right now. So right now, I invite you to settle in and allow Jim's reading and the centering music to open our hearts and prepare us to connect to that sacred space within. And then Jim will lead us in prayer.
Today our reading will be taken from the Book of Awakening by Mark Nepo. It's called Precious Human Spirit. There is a Buddhist precept that asks us to be mindful of how rare it is to find ourselves in human form on earth. It is really a beautiful view of life that offers us the chance to feel enormous appreciation for the fact that we are here as individual spirits filled with consciousness, drinking water and chopping wood. It asks us to look about at the ant and the antelope, at the worm and the butterfly, at the dog and the bull, at the hawk and the wild tiger, at the 100-year-old oak and the 1,000-year-old patch of ocean. It asks us to understand that no other life form has the consciousness of being that we are privileged to. It asks us to recognize that of all the endless species of plants and animals and minerals that make up the earth, a very small portion of life has the wakefulness of spirit that we call being human. That I can rise from some depth of awareness to express this to you, and that you can receive me in this instant is part of our precious human birth. You could have been an ant. I could have been an anteater. You could have been rain, and I could have been a lick of salt. But we were blessed in this time, in this place, to be human beings, alive in rare ways we often take for granted. All of this to say, this precious human birth is unrepeatable. So what will you do today, knowing that you are one of the rarest forms of life to ever walk the earth?
From the imagine there's boundaries or big tall walls. Call on love in a silent prayer. It takes only a moment, and I'm right here. I'm right here in the stars in the sky. You can feel me inside if you quietly listen. And the love that you feel in your heart comes right through any seeming unreachable distance. I'm right here. I'm right here. I never leave you alone. I'm right here. There's nothing between us at all. I'm right here. I never leave you alone. I'm right here. I'm right here. I'm right here. I'm right
From that sacred space that lives within each one, I recognize the one powerful presence that creates all of life, feeling the amazing life force within and all around. This loving energy flows easily through all of life, expressing perfectly as each person joining us from home. I rejoice in my oneness with this creation. I open my heart to the one love that connects me to the essence of my being. I feel so grateful for this loving, peaceful presence. I know the words spoken here today bless everyone. And I revel in the beauty of our talented musicians as they join us together in song, allowing us to radiate our light and love into the world. I am grateful for the life we share in spiritual community. As together we say, and so it is.
Thank you, Jim. A beautiful reading and beautiful prayer. I love our centering song this month. Kathy Zavada wrote this beautiful song, I'm Right Here. It's like a love song from the divine. There's nothing between us at all. I'm right here. It's beautiful. And speaking of beautiful words, this is a song we're going to sing together. My wife wrote, called Words Are a Gift. The power and beauty of our language. Please sing along with us.
My
Thanks for singing along. It's my pleasure to introduce our special music today. One of our own, dear friend to the center, a wonderful songwriter and singer. She has just written this remarkable music that's just so timely. This first song she's going to do, I'll let her say a few words about it, but it should be all over the radio right now. There is no enemy. Please welcome Leslie Monroe.
It did feel to me like this song got to be shared at this time. There is no enemy. There is only me. And the way I see the world, there is no enemy. There is only me. And the way I see the world, it's win or lose, it's we or they. The separation ego craves in the illusion of impending danger. A cry of pain, we hear no sound, still moving over what comes around. No recognition of the total stranger. There is no enemy. There is only me. And the way I see the world, there is no enemy. There is only me. And the way I see the world, I brush you off so I can paint pictures of you, sinner or saint, that I can worship or run away from. If I will see behind your eyes the spark of truth, the family ties, I will remember you, whatever may come. There is no enemy. There is only me. And the way I see the world, there is no enemy. There is only me. And the way I choose to see the world, ooh, enemy.
When we remember who
There
we
is
are,
only
we come together in
and
the
the way
heart
I see
where we are loved.
there is no enemy.
The light is you, the light
There
is
is
me.
only
The light is shining, and we see
I
that we are loved.
There is no
Love remembers love, remembers
There is
love,
only
remembers love,
and the
remembers
way I see the world, there is no enemy. There is only me and the way I choose to see the world.
Leslie Monroe.
That was perfect. Thank you so much. I wish you could hear all the people clapping out there. And I'd love a copy of the words. All right. This month, the theme is mindfulness for Mavericks. I have just loved how often the themes and topics planned months ago by Home Office have been so timely with the most unexpected things that have been going on in our world. Myrna had long ago chosen a different topic for last week, so I've decided to combine last week and this week's topic from Home Office for my talk today. A week ago, the topic was Just Breathe, and the topic for today is Mindful Intentions. I looked up some of the definitions of maverick, and I found this. An unorthodox or independent-minded person, a person pursuing rebellious, even potentially disruptive policies, ideas, or behaviors, a dissenter. Since the killing of George Floyd, our streets have been filled with mavericks, rebelling, dissenting, and disrupting in response to a status quo that has long denied people of color in our country equal rights, equal opportunities, equal justice, equal education, equal health care, and equal access to the guarantees of our Constitution. I don't know about you, but I have felt inspired to ask what I can do to make a difference in changing these inequities. And if you've been wondering that too, please stay tuned. If you haven't been wondering, perhaps you will before I've finished. Without breath, there is no life. Breathing is life sustaining itself with the ebb and flow of each inhalation and exhalation. When we are mindfully aware of how we are breathing at any given moment, we can immediately check in on what is going on with us, noticing any tension, anxiety, fears, worry, stress, trauma, and use that to signal us to act, to just breathe. We can choose to modify our breathing for maximum health and well-being by using tools such as meditation, mindfulness practices, humming, chanting, even counting to 10. When we change how we breathe, we change how we live. So if at any time today you become uncomfortable with our conversation, I invite you to focus on your breath and just breathe. Just breathe. And yet we're in the middle of a pandemic that attacks respiration, rendering people unable to breathe. George Floyd told the man kneeling on his neck that he couldn't breathe. Today I feel compelled to invite each of us to ask ourselves, what am I called to endure, what am I called to do to ensure that as much as humanly possible, everyone has at minimum the opportunity to just breathe? What kind of mindful intentions are called for if we want to be part of the solution and not the problem? What does setting an intention actually mean? It means deciding the outcome or goal we are choosing to pursue. Like all decisions, it can be made consciously or unconsciously. The point of being mindful in our intentions is to consciously choose how we use the power that we have been given by our Creator to co-create our life experience. Before we go further, I want to be sure that we're all on the same page, and in order to do that, I'm going to do a brief refresher about a core science of mind teaching that reminds us of the nature of God as we understand it in our philosophy. We believe that we are co-creators with the divine Creator in the process of bringing what we desire into being, and that there is a universal process of how creation works. The process is the same at both the macro or God level and the micro or human level. Creation of anything begins with a thought, with spirit, intelligence, or first cause. It is a choice and intention of our conscious mind to bring something into being, whether that's the universe as we know it at the macro level, or a new job, a happy relationship, a physical healing, or a change in how we view the world at the micro level. The crucial element at this point is the conscious process, the conscious thought, the mindful intention that starts it all. Our intentions need to be nurtured with awareness, with faith, and with practice. You may have noticed that our prayers often end with some variation of the words, "We release these words into the law which does the work." This is because conscious thought alone is not enough to bring about creation or change. The law is also called substance, principle, soul, or subjective mind. It is the feeling part of the equation, the neutral energy and creative medium out of which that which we intend comes into being. It is also where the collective mind, what we call race consciousness, resides. It is the clay out of which the conscious intention of the potter begins to be formed. The third element of the creative process is the form, effect, creation, the body. It is where that which was intended becomes visible and takes form. It is a result of the cause that was consciously set into motion. It is the manifestation of the substance taking form in the way that was chosen. It is the cup or bowl or vase that results from the potter intentionally shaping the clay. It is that which is tangible and usually verifiable with our senses. Michael Beckwith says that intention helps create a tendency that when repeatedly practiced becomes the law of our life. But the stumbling block is that we have to practice until it becomes our subjective law. If conscious thought and subconscious mind are not in agreement, the subconscious will prevail. If you repeat a conscious affirmation, but your subconscious mind responds each time with, "That's not true," your affirmation will not be effective. In his book, Living the Science of Mind, our founder, Ernest Holmes, wrote, "Conditions can be changed if we retrace our mental steps. Effects can be changed when we set new causes in motion. Through reforming our word and changing our whole body of thinking, we can as easily change the existing conditions as perpetuate them. To know the principle and to understand how it works is not enough. We must use it, begin to think new thoughts, though they contradict everything that currently appears. For that which first created can recreate. That which molded the clay can remold it." The changing of these thought patterns is more than a thing of intellect. It is also a thing of feeling, of a deep inner conviction. Gradually, as we reform our thoughts, they will become subjective. They will sink into that place in our subconscious mind, which is the power within us, and which is where the intention is birthed into form. It may take time to do this, but think of the reward, the outcome. When we keep the intention in mind and refuse to be baffled or defeated, with uplifted thought and a calm but definite purpose, we cannot fail. So now that Holmes has reminded us of how to accomplish what we desire, are we willing to be mindful mavericks? To remold our own consciousness so that uniting together, we can change the collective race consciousness? What intentions are you willing to mindfully choose so that everyone will have an equal opportunity to just breathe? I want to suggest some options for your consideration. The first relates to the pandemic and how we might help ensure that everyone can stay healthy so they can freely breathe. Cases of COVID-19 have been the highest here in Utah in the last few weeks since the virus began. That's happening in almost half the states around the country. One of the things that study after study has shown that we can do to help ensure others can breathe is to wear masks. I know it's a hassle, and that the wearing of them has somehow been politicized with accusations of requiring them as an impingement on our individual rights, or I don't need one, I feel safe. But as people committed to growing spiritually, to living lives of compassion and caring, can we do less than what helps keep others safe? When science tells us that wearing masks protects not just the wearer, but everyone that person encounters, that asymptomatic people can spread the virus without ever knowing they have it, can we not realize that wearing masks is not an act of fear or suppression, but an act of love and support and respect? Wearing them says, I care enough about your well-being that I will endure the inconvenience of wearing a mask when I am around my sisters and brothers of the world. We can also do all the other things that we know helps. Maintain our 6 feet physical distancing, wash our hands often, and as much as possible avoid being close to others, not our housemates, in a closed room for any extended period of time unless we're wearing masks. We also know that being outside is safer than being inside, so that's a safer place to gather. In doing these things, we can help protect ourselves and others so that we can all continue to enjoy the breath of life. Now, when it comes to the issue of what we can each do to change a system that has, since our ancestors came to this country, worked unequally for people of color, things get a lot more complex. Personally, I can no longer march in protest because of physical limitations, though I did my share of that when I was younger. I am grateful for those who can and who are. You are clearly making a difference. Thank you, thank you, thank you. What I can do is educate myself about the pervasiveness of the injustice, of the inequities, of the experience of being white in America versus being almost anything else, whether Black, Latinx, Indigenous, Islander, Asian. In my quest to educate myself, I've learned a number of things that I either didn't know before or had forgotten. I've learned that race is almost completely a social construct, that genetically there is only one race, the human race. We are truly all one. What differs is the cultures we've been raised in and our ethnicity. Yes, skin colors differ just as eye and hair colors differ from one white person to another. I've learned a lot about unconscious bias and prejudice and how truly ingrained in most of us white people a belief in white superiority really is. I've learned about white privilege and white fragility, about how we police the tone of people of color. I've learned about white exceptionalism, which is how those of us who aren't overt racists fail to understand our privilege or how we contribute to the harm being done to people of color. Just breathe. I've come to understand in a new way the ways that white America has had its knee on the neck of people of color since we arrived in this land. We killed the people who had lived here for centuries, herded them into reservations, did everything possible to keep them from teaching their children the beauty of the culture we tried to steal from them. I just learned this week that here in Utah, 300 people of the Navajo Nation still have no running water. We brought boatloads of people of color here to work our lands and our textile mills. We beat them, raped them, sold them away from their families, and grew rich on the back of their labor. Later, we kept them separated from us in inferior housing, denied them any education or access to quality education, made them sit in the back of the bus, lynched them for our entertainment, and then judged them more harshly than any white person when in desperation they resorted to crime or violence. I'm sure many of you listening are saying to yourselves, I never did that. And while that is in most ways true, what all of us with white skin have done is benefited from that heritage as we continue living in our unequal world. Others of you may be telling yourself that you grew up poor, that you didn't benefit. That is about the difference in economic class, not skin color. I've learned so much in the last few weeks about the privileges I take for granted that have come to me by virtue of my skin color, not because of anything I have done to earn it. Of course, there are things I've earned by hard work, but I started out ahead of most any person of color just because of the color of my skin. I've learned that I contribute to the problem without any conscious intention to do so. And that's in spite of having actually consciously worked to make a difference. Many of you, I'm sure, have done that too. I am not from Utah. I lived most of my adult life in North Carolina, and I literally spent the first 6 months I lived here everywhere I go saying, it's so white. I miss the diversity of color and culture that I used to take for granted. I moved to Alabama from Germany when I was 11 years old, and I was confused by the white and colored water fountains in the store. School and lots of other things were still segregated. I was there when the freedom rides were happening. I did my therapist training with a group that had begun as the Fellowship of Racial and Economic Equality. Early in my training, I learned about the subtlety of racism when we were all asked to share what we had learned about race in our families. I really thought I had been taught equality. I said that my parents had taught me that black people were just as good as I was. And a black woman then shared that she had also been taught equality, that she was just as good as white people. And we realized at the same moment that we had both been subtly taught that the standard of excellence was white. If we want to make a difference to be sure that everyone has the freedom to just breathe, that is the kind of subtle racism that we are being called to discover and change about ourselves. In my process of educating myself about how I contribute to inequality and how I can work to change things, I discovered the book, Me and White Supremacy, by Layla F. Saad. It includes a 28-day workbook that invites us to journal each day in response to a series of questions based on that day's teachings. Home Office also discovered the book and is offering a book study based on it beginning in July for ministers, August for practitioners, and September for community members. I will warn you, it is not a book designed to make you feel good. It has been gut-wrenching at times to recognize things about myself that because of my lack of awareness I have done to perpetuate the great discrepancies that exist between the lives of white people and people of color. But I am committed to doing my work, to do what is necessary to help change myself, so I can help change the collective consciousness of our world, so that we can achieve our organization's global heart vision of a world that works for everyone. I hope you'll join me. I would guess that most everyone listening today has not intentionally tried to deny equal rights to everyone, has not consciously seen being white as superior to being a person of color, has not actively pursued a person of color with a gun, or called the cops on someone of color, or belonged to the Ku Klux Klan, or burned crosses in someone else's yard, or many of the other overt signs we think of as what it means to be a white supremacist. But I remind you then that in the battle between conscious and subconscious subjective thought, the subjective will almost always win. And the subjective is highly influenced by the collective race consciousness. And in our collective consciousness, whites and people of color are not equal. Those of us with white skin started the race far down the track, and we are the ones with power, which means it's up to us to change it. Not because we are in any way superior, but because we are the heirs to unearned exceptional influence that we can now choose to use to help level the playing field. So I ask you today, what are you willing to do to help ensure that everyone has an equal chance to just breathe? Are you willing to wear a mask when you go out in public because you care about the safety and well-being of others as much as you care about your personal freedom? Are you willing to endure the restrictions necessary to safely reopen our center so that our being closed is not undone by reopening without the necessary precautions for everyone to be safe? I know that we all just want to be together and hold hands when we sing the closing song and hug the stuffing out of each other. We want to hang out in the lobby and drink Jerry's great coffee and talk and talk and talk. And we want to go to lunch with a big group of people. And yet those are the things that we still can't do if we want to reopen safely. And until we can reopen in any form, what are you willing to do to safely stay connected with others in our community? Are you calling your friends? Checking in on those that may not have family nearby? Are you participating in your own spiritual practice and finding meaning in this most unusual time? We keep talking to you from up here each Sunday, but we're not hearing a lot back. We would really love to know how you're doing. So send us pictures of you watching the service or doing anything else in your life. Post them on the Friends Facebook page. Send them to the office. We'd love to hear. I feel a need to remind all of us that George Floyd was not the first black man to die from not being able to breathe because of treatment that happens repeatedly to people of color and almost never to whites. Armed white militants closed down a state legislature because they were tired of having to stay home because of COVID, and the police left them alone. Peaceful black demonstrators marched and were met with tear gas and rubber bullets and riot gear. This inequality has to stop. Are you willing to commit yourself to doing the uncomfortable work of diving deep into your own subjective mind and explore the unconscious ways that you are part of the problem instead of the solution? Are you willing to begin to consciously educate yourself about the role of maintaining your role in maintaining a country that oppresses a large part of its population for no reason other than the color of their skin? Are you willing to help create a world that truly works for everyone? For those of you who are interested in doing the work, I'll be posting some resources on our webpage when this video goes up there. And so now, as we prepare to close in prayer together, I want to share a quote from Mahatma Gandhi. He has often been credited with saying, "Be the change you wish to see in the world." And while that is wise counsel for all of us, this is what he actually said, which I've updated for gender inclusivity. We but mirror the world. All the tendencies present in the outer world are to be found in the world of our bodies. If we could change ourselves, the tendencies of the world would also change. As we change our own nature, so does the attitude of the world change. This is the divine mystery supreme. A wonderful thing it is, and the source of our happiness. We need not wait to see what others do. The real change comes when we go within and do the work of inner transformation, when we examine ourselves openly, honestly, vulnerably, and purge our unconscious allegiance to an unequal and unfair world. Breath is life. Let's create mindful intentions and do the inner work necessary to be sure that everyone equally has the freedom to just breathe. Please join me in prayer. And so we breathe. Grateful for the freedom to do so. Grateful that our Creator, by its conscience, intention, brought into being a world filled with such a rich tapestry of diversity. I'm grateful that not all the animals it created are elephants. Not all the birds are robins. Not all the lands are deserts. Not all the waters are oceans. Not all the people are white. As I recognize that all that exists in the natural world came into being as an expression of the conscious intention of the divine, I remember that I too am one with my Creator, brought into being by the divine to be a co-creator with freedom to choose what I create. As I know this for myself, I know it for each person listening and all who breathe. Using the blessing of that power of co-creation, I choose here today to know with a deep certainty that from this moment forward, our world is being transformed. That we are all humbly asking what is ours to do and setting a mindful intention to do our part to change the collective consciousness so that all are free to just breathe and use that breath of life to create the lives they choose, not just what our biased collective consciousness has said they can have. I am knowing healing for all who have been touched with this virus or any illness, comfort for all those who have lost loved ones, wisdom for the scientists seeking cures, strength for the medical people caring for loved sick ones everywhere, and a global change of heart that transcends all division and brings us finally into a just and loving world that truly works for everyone. I am so grateful for this power of mindful intention and co-creation, and for all who have made the commitment from this moment forward to use that power to create a world in which all are free to just breathe and create magnificent lives. Filled with that gratitude, I give thanks and release my word into the law which does the work, as together we say. And so it is. Amen and amen.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I give. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
Now is our time of conscious giving, which in our center is a spiritual practice, something we do consciously for spiritual health and well-being. In order to keep everyone safe and well, we are streaming our services online. Since our expenses continue to be the same as when we previously met in this building, we appreciate your continued financial support in these unprecedented times. You may continue to give via automatic withdrawal, text to give, or simply donate through our website at spirituallyfree.org. Now I invite you to bring your gift to your mind and heart, feeling the truth of your words as we speak together our giving affirmation. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Filled with gratitude, I let this be, and so it is.
All that I need comes to me. All that I need comes to me. Light of love and grace shines upon my face. All that I need comes to me. I've been set free, I'm released. I've been set free, I'm released. The burden of my past has gone away at last. I've been set free, I'm released. All that I need comes to me. All that I need comes to me. The light of love and grace shines upon my face. All that I need comes to me. All that I need comes to me.
Let's hear some more from Leslie Monroe. A beautiful song, Gentle Man.
Thank you. Oh, getting emotional. We've all had these different experiences in our life, and there's been a time of, where women have been vocally sharing what they experience and change that they would like to experience. And this song is for the men, because there's a lot of men that we're hearing about with everything that's going on. And it was even brought to my attention about where I have run over some of the men in my life with my vocal whatever. And so this song is for all those men and the boys. And on a personal note, it's for all the men who I have known and maybe not known and loved and will love in my life. How many times have you heard it? You could own this town, take anybody down, throw your weight around. You know in your heart it's not who you are. Take off the disguise, baby, look in my eyes. I see the softer side, the tears that hide beneath the toughest nails. The soldier's son who's still the only one taking hits but never bails. The exterior rough who doesn't think he's enough unless he's got the upper hand. This gentle, gentleman. How many times have you heard it? Big boys don't cry. Well, that's a lie, and I'll show you why. Look into your soul, see the man who's whole, velvet and steel. So let yourself feel the gender softer side, the heart that hides beneath the toughest nails. The show of pride, working hard to provide, but still afraid he's gonna fail. The exterior rough who loves a woman enough to move a mountain with bare hands so he can hold her, a gentleman. You are powerful and strong enough to press through the driving rain. Your vulnerability is still your greatest strength. The gender softer side, a light so bright, a heart that never fails. With a hero's smile, breathes life in his child, just filling up those sails. When the going gets tough, he's strong enough to know when to leave it in God's hands. This gentle, gentleman. Thank you.
Thank you, Leslie. Thank you all for tuning in. I appreciate you being with us. Feel a connection. Listen to the call to connect and take the opportunity to keep in touch with each other. I want to say that taking personal responsibility, looking at accountability and freedom, social justice, those are not political things. Those are community things. Those are human things. They help us collaborate, coordinate. They support us loving each other, and they support full opportunities to be that expansive being that we are born to be. We are individual lights. We are each a whole piece of God. And we have things to do and things to say. Have a blessed week. Please sing this closing song with us. Seed to sow. Whatever you do, whatever you say, however you are, those are seeds that we plant moment to moment. Let's be the mindful mavericks we are and notice what we're planting. So much love to you.
Some people quietly reveal in the manner of the meek. Some people shout the way they feel to a radical degree. Let me tell you about one thing I know. Everybody's got a seed to sow. Let your heart of hearts take you down the road. Everybody's got a seed to sow. Everybody's got a seed to sow. Some people sing it to express, while others hear another call. Some people speak with subtleness, some don't rely on words at all. No. Let me tell you about one thing I know. Everybody's got a seed to sow. Let your heart of hearts take you down the road. 'Cause everybody's got a seed to sow. Everybody's got a seed to sow. We are all pieces of the whole with different feelings to evoke. Giving distinction to the role, different players, different strokes.